Well, China needs the resources from Cameroon. Cameroon has diamond. Cameroon has oil. Cameroon has timber. So China, gold too, yeah. So China is interested in the resources of Cameroon.
Cameroon. It's got gold, timber, oil, and strategic ports. China wants it, and it will do what it takes to get it. Africa. It has resources. China wants them. And nowhere is that more apparent than in Cameroon. Cameroon is one of the breadbaskets of Africa. It's also loaded with diamonds, gold, and oil. Plus, it's strategically located with several ocean ports the Chinese military would love to have access to. This is Cameroon's president, Paul Biya. He's been president for 36 years, which can only mean one thing. The people love him so much they keep re-electing him in free and fair elections. And he's only too happy to give the Chinese Communist Party the access to Cameroon it craves. To find out more about China's colonial plans in Cameroon and Africa at large, I sat down with Congo Felix Agbor at the Oz of Freedom Forum.
There's nothing like a free lunch. I know people criticize the relationship that we had with the West, colonialism and the rest, but China is another colonial power in thin disguise. China is giving loans. There's a lot of corruption in the contracts. Nobody's accountable. There's no transparency, and we are indebted to them a lot. I know at times they will cancel some of the debts, but they are getting enormous resources from us, and Chinese are migrating to Cameroon. They are doing some of the business that the local people are supposed to be doing. They are fishing, and there's gradually tension between the Chinese and the Cameroonians.
So Chinese leader Xi Jinping calls it win-win cooperation, but doesn't sound like this is actually a win for the people of Cameroon.
No, from my own perspective, it's not a win-win situation. It's not winning for the people of Cameroon. It might be winning for the government and for China. The average Cameroonian is not benefiting a lot. The government cannot account to some of these monies that are given, and it's like mortgaging the destiny of future generations. So it's win-win, yes, win for the Chinese government and win for the Cameroonian government, but it's a win-loss for the Cameroonian people.
And I know Cameroon is in a very strategic location in the region, and China has shown an interest in a billion-dollar port. What's behind that?
Central Africa region, West Africa, we're bordered to Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Chad, and the Central African Republic. So strategically, we are very important. And we have the outlets, we have the ports, we have one in Douala, we have one in Kribi, and I just hear they want to build one in Limbe. So the Chinese are interested in Cameroon, They are very interested. A lot of powers are interested in Cameroon, but of late the Chinese have developed a lot of interest because Cameroon is also agriculturally, Cameroon is very rich. The soil is extremely, extremely rich. So if we are not careful, the next coming years, Cameroon will be a playground for power politics. Cameroon will be a playground for Chinese interests and Chinese politics.
Do you have any sense of China's overall plan for Africa?
I don't know whether it's my sense, but what the overall plan is to take over the economy of the continent, to have as many contracts as possible so that they can control the continent. Because there's a fight between, a real or imaginary fight between China and the West. So everybody wants to control the resources of Africa. And because most of the 54 countries are dictators, a lot of them are going towards China. Don't forget the building of the African Union in Ethiopia was a gift given by China, So China is there to conquer the markets. China needs the resources. China's growing population, China doesn't have a choice than to look outward. And Africa, for now, is a soft area. Africa, for now, is an area where you can manipulate the leaders. Africa is an area where, because of a lot of greed and graft and selfishness and avarice from our leaders, they can cut any deal with China to stay in power. So China would be a big player. The economy of our countries would suffer unless we stand up and start having fair deals with China.